I felt that the character of Oliver Tate was very interesting and very funny, and I think Joe's book is very good in its entirety, but there's something about the character and the fact that he was very knowing and quite mean that I liked, because it feels that very often, because coming of age novels or films feel that they're in some way based on the maker, that they're very kind to themselves, and that essentially the plot of those films is waiting for the world to realise how great this person really is. But I like that this was a character that was compromised in a way, and very self-regarding and puffed up and as stupid as an adult.
Right, okay, just don't open them, I'll tell you. Stay there.
What now?
Yeah.
You're a serial killer.
The idea of doing a coming-of-age film that was British felt quite difficult, because it doesn't feel that there are a lot, in a way. I can't think of that many, or, there were the films that I think of in this territory that are English tend to be 60s, like Billy Liar or If or Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner, when there was a sort of more of an interest in people of a younger age. But I think it's not a territory that is, that comes up in British films very much. It's very American.
Listen, I hope you don't mind, but your mother informs me that you have a girlfriend. Is there anything I can help you with there?
I'm not sure yet. I'll let you know.
OK. All right. Yes. Listen, look, I know you think I'm very boring, but once I ripped my vest off in front of a woman, and it was very effective, actually.
The book is first person, and so the core of it's testimony and having someone who isn't necessarily the most objective distiller of the experiences that have happened. So you're trying to translate something that is necessarily first person and in someone's head into something that is more behavioural, and in the book there's no description of what Oliver looks like, and so you have to end up codifying a number of things, and you decide what the room looks like and where the school is, and all of those things start happening and create a reality that is a very different experience to hearing someone tell you something. The DP, Eric Wilson, hadn't done a lot of films before, and so we were both, I guess, quite new to making films. And then you have more experienced people around, and Sally and Paddy and Noah have been in so much stuff. And I think it's one of those things that, because the particular problems of each film are so different, I don't know that you necessarily just get better. And that's the terrifying and worrying thing about it, is that each time you do it, you'll really know better than you were, because you can't bring the lessons of a previous thing to this because they're inappropriate. And in fact, they might be dangerous, the idea that you already know what you're doing, because no one really knows. I think John Ford knew what he was doing, but maybe that's about it. I think maybe when you've made 200 films and you don't even need to look through the camera and you just go 30mm over there, James Stewart's going to walk through. It's going to be great.
To us, and a wonderful evening of lovemaking.
Working with Craig Roberts and Yasmin Paige was great. In a sense, they were some of the most experienced actors I directed, because they started doing things when they were 7, so they'd been doing it for 10, 11 years, and it was a complete pleasure, and they were great and became very good friends during it. And Yasmin particularly just stayed in that voice for the entirety of the shoot. She's from London and did a Christian Bale on it. Shaved a tiny bald patch into the back of her head so that she'd feel right about it.
Now kneel down.
Please, Jordana, what is this?
Kneel down. Close your eyes.
You have a plan of things and then things change a bit in the edit, but I mean, in terms of the different styles, that was always going to be what we were going to try to do, and especially through the idea that he was viewing everything as a film, that was going to be the glue. It felt that, you know, one of my favourite films is Adidon Metro, and that's got so many different styles in and so many different things, and French New Wave films and Truffaut, where you'd have so many different types of style, but they had a spirit behind them. And hopefully the idea was that the character Oliver Tate would be a sort of charming enough person to follow that you would be able to cope with these various different things.
Chip's knows there's nothing more attractive than a bully. He also knows that Zoe Priest is a legitimate target because she's overweight and won't accept notes in class. Essentially, I disapprove of bullying. Jordana, however, seems to enjoy it in moderation. I must not let my principles stand in the way of progress. I must be willing to adapt.
Because the film's seen through Oliver's eyes, I suppose the parents have, and I think Yasmin does, have, in some sense, they have a harder job because they have to exist as real people and as real characters without there necessarily being as many clues in the book or the script. And so, in a way, there was more work for them to do and more work that you do with them that's left off screen, really.
He still finds you attractive. He still wants to make love to you.
Are you making this up, Oliver?
Me and Dad have discussed it. We both want to make this marriage work.
With Paddy, again, we sort of really made sure that we knew exactly, you know, where he and Jill had first met and what had happened leading up to this moment, why I'd come back. You know, this whole other strand of things that isn't in the film, because it very easily could be a sort of caricatured performance. And I think, you know, Paddy is someone who completely internalises something, and once he knows what the mechanics of it are, can seemingly infinitely improvise within the parameters of it. Paddy's just, I've always found him very funny, and he just is naturally, yeah, a great improviser, and always knows how to be funny without looking like he's trying to reach for something because it's funny. There are certain ways, I guess, that you see things, but hopefully they're informed by the character and the kind of story of it, so that you really, I remember like Polanski saying that you look at the scene and then you stand where it feels that you want to see the scene from, and that's probably a combination between your taste of things and what feels correct and what kind of thing it is. So you probably always have an influence in terms of your personal taste, but hopefully it's completely gone through the filter of the story and the characters, so that it's not you imposing a style on something regardless of its content.